Melissa Jakes, the Olivia Pope of virtual and live events, is the CEO and founder of Rescue Event Planning, a Washington, D.C.-based boutique event planning firm to influencers, organizations, and corporations. During this pandemic, Melissa's expertise in online event planning has become a hot commodity. Her company also provides several courses on topics related to event planning and entrepreneurship. She gives mommypreneurs the tools and services to balance career, business ownership, and management with family. Melissa has spoken at several events such as Facebook Boost and conducted workshops at universities and small businesses. She has been featured in several publications such as Event Planner Association Podcast, Rent My Wedding Magazine, Morgan State University, iHeartRadio, CEO Blog Nation, BET Influencer, and Event Planner Expo 2020. She provides entrepreneurs with special tools to combat what she calls FWD, fear, worry, and doubt obstacles, in order to break through and become successful owners. Mommypreneurs, let's welcome Melissa Jakes.
Happy Wednesday, mommies. Oh my goodness. I cannot believe it is Wednesday and it is a new month. It's March. Wow. Where's the year going? Like, hello, we're almost about to be in quarter two. What just happened? So I hope you guys are having an amazing, amazing Wednesday. Mine has been jam-packed. I try not to book my meetings back to back, but I went against the grain in my team members. They told me we give you space in between. And so please don't book meetings. And I, guilty, booked meetings. And so I did back to back to back to back all the way through. So y'all, I'm a little exhausted, but I am super energized every time I come on for Mommypreneur Wednesdays because we're able to just be real, authentic, and have great conversation and great dialogue about lots of different topics. And so today, we're going to be talking about being the COO in your marriage and in your business. And even if you're not married, you might be in a relationship. This can also relate to you as well. Okay. So being the COO in your marriage and your business. So before we get into it, you guys know the drill. If you're new, well, guess what? We have a candle called Power Moves. And Power Moves Monday is when we light this candle, we set off our week, we make sure that we are setting the stage in the mood correctly to make power moves. Because as moms, we already make power moves, but in our business, sometimes you just need to get another type of energy flowing, right? To make sure things are going well. So I want you guys to head over to Noir by Naray, and you see it scrolling at the bottom of your screen, and you're able to use your discount code Melissa Jakes, and you'll be able to get some percentage off of your purchases. Now, I must warn you that when you go to the site, you might be tempted to get other things, and that's okay. Okay, treat yourself. Okay, most people send me a message like, listen, I went there for this candle, and I walked away with 5, and that's totally fine. Okay, because I'm a candle girl too. I'll light one in my office. I'll light one in my bedroom, my baby's room. Make sure he tried to sleep well down in the kitchen. Just, we need it, right? So definitely make sure you head over there, get the website and purchase your your candle today. Your ticket. I must be selling an event soon. All right. So I am about to introduce our next guest today on Mommypreneur Wednesday. And her name is Lachauna Edwards. She is a civil rights attorney by day and a marriage and motherhood blogger by night. I love that. She has been married for 7 years and is a mother of a 6-year-old and 2 twin 20-month-year-old daughters. I almost gave her 6 kids. I did not mean to do that. So our daughters are the same age, and God bless your soul with twins. As a working mama, she is very passionate about teaching wise, practical strategies and tools to avoid the burnout and the resentment of bringing peace and joy back into the marriage and the home. Which is how she came up with the vision for her daily for wives, as a well-planned wife. I love that. She believes cannot be done successfully without God, yes, and loves to encourage women and wives to recognize that the power giving to them as a wife, then operating in the authority of prioritizing their marriage with God. And we would say how you're able to connect with her as the show goes on. But let me bring to the stage Lachauna. Hey, how are you?
Good.
Perfect. Yes. I love the idea of a planner. I love planners.
Yeah.
But sometimes people need guidance. And so that's definitely an amazing thing that I'm so glad that you did.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. But first of all, do not give me 6 kids, honey.
I know. I know she didn't tell me 6 kids.
No, ma'am.
You already have your hands full with twins.
Yes, I do. And actually, my son just turned 7 a couple days ago. So,
okay.
Yeah, we're in the thick of it over here.
Absolutely. And I love it. Being a mom of 3 boys, sometimes I'm like, maybe I want another one. And I'm like, no, I think I'm good with 2.
You know what? It's funny is I literally, and I mean literally, used to tell people when we had just my son and they would ask if we wanted another child, I would say, yeah, but I only want one more because when they outnumber you, they take over. And God was like, okay, girl, welcome to the takeover.
I got you. The takeover.
I'm never having more than 2 kids. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. You put it out there, boy. God will be like, heard.
Folks, right, exactly. You think you in control, honey.
Right. So just to remind folks, we are talking about being the COO in your marriage and your business. And for those who don't know what COO is, it's Chief Operation Officer. Mm-hmm. And so clearly we operate in our homes and our business. And yes, our husbands might, are the head of the household, but we know who moves the neck. Okay.
Period.
We're the neck.
Period. Okay.
I'm the head, but we tell you how to turn. Okay.
We running this ship.
Right. So tell us, as a mom of twins, what are some advice you can give mommypreneurs for meeting work deadlines, their business deadlines? How does that work with you?
So, as you said, I'm a civil rights attorney during the day, right? And last year, well, I've had essentially, I've had blogger entrepreneur goals for a few years, and I had been nervous to step out forever. And I finally was like, let's do this. COVID is like, although it's hectic, in the house, let me go ahead and go after my dreams while I have this extra time at home. So the most important thing that I think you have to do is be realistic in what your goals are, and then setting bite-sized amounts aside. Like, for instance, let's say I want to, for instance, on my planner, I wanted to have my journal prompts completed by a certain date. So I needed to break that down into bite-sized pieces and say, I want to have this much done by Monday and then this much done by Tuesday, or so on and so on. But being very realistic and allowing yourself to actually have achievable goals. If my goal was just, I want to have my planner finished, and I'm taking weeks on and months and start to get discouraged because it feels like I'm not actually knocking off any goals. Whereas instead I can focus on each part of the planner. Okay, this, I want to make sure I find a graphic designer by this date. And then I want to make sure we have the design done by this date. And that is far more achievable, and you'll feel more successful when you actually have smaller goals that you're consistently meeting. You'll feel like you're progressing towards something, and not like the major goal is just so far off that I feel like I'm not making any movement.
Right. That's so important, that we need to realize you can't look at the laundry list, because you'll get overwhelmed. And like you said, that like, oh, okay, I'll get to it. It becomes like more of a nagging situation than like, this is my passion, this is my vision that I really want to do. and doing those small bite-sized little goals and tasks that lead to the laundry list
Exactly.
is definitely useful. That's definitely useful. And so how do you utilize that in on the mommy side?
As in, like, how do I manage mommyhood through it?
Yes, with the twin and a 7-year-old.
Well, so honestly, right now, my son is in school. We tried to do virtual school from August until October. And it was just far, like, that was just, I had too big of a goal. I was like, oh, I can do virtual school with him and I'll manage the girls. And no. Like, at some point you have to really be like, okay, this is literally not meant for one person to do, and I have to bow out. And so I prayed over him and I sent his butt back to school in October. But it was best for all of us. He's excited to go to school. His school is being very safe. My husband is at work, obviously, so it's on me and the girls at home. So on a day-to-day basis, what it looks like, and I actually have adjusted my schedule several times throughout this pandemic. I thank God for having a flexible job that has allowed us to figure out what's working for us right now. So currently what's working for me is I've been getting up at 6:30 in the morning, and my girls do not go to sleep. And they don't wake up until about 8-ish. I'm sorry. But listen, let me just say this. They sleep through the night, and they've slept through the night since they're about 7 or 8 months. And they were breastfed. So it's not even like, oh, that she must have been putting cereal in the bottle. No. But I prayed on that. I said, God, if you don't give me twins, please give me some easy baby. But nevertheless, I wake up, and on a great day, I'll have a moment to have a little devotional time just to get my mind right. The stillness of the morning really helps me to just kind of get prepared. And then I'll start my work day. Now, I try to set my screen time on my iPhone, where you can have it where it blocks certain apps or things like that. So for instance, I know that I have a habit of wanting to get on social media immediately. So I block it off until about 9 a.m. So from 6:30 when I wake up, it's about 9 a.m. Again, on a great day. I'm not always perfect. I'm going to sit and have my devotional time. I'm going to wait to get on social media and all that. And I'll start my work day, figure out what I need to do, check for emails. And then once they get up, I have to take a break for a second and go get breakfast ready. And then I put them in their chairs for breakfast. And then I go sit on the couch and I try to do a little bit more work. And so we are probably doing a little more screen time than we should right now. But I'm putting it on the TV, not necessarily they don't use the iPad but nothing against anybody who do. You do what you do to get through, okay? Right. But they're just not really into that. So we'll put on something on the TV, nursery rhymes or whatever. We just got into Monica J. Sutton, who does like pre-K circle time. It's amazing. It's on YouTube. I've seen a few other people do it, and now that my girls are too, they're a little more interested in like people on TV and not just the cartoons. So we just started that, and they like that, and they'll do that. And so working between then and their nap time can be hit or miss some days. But I try my best. But then during nap time is when I'm going to do my most important things. Whatever I know that I have to get done, like today, or I need to make big moves in this area, that's when I'm going to start working on that. And then the rest of the day, again, balancing between chasing after them, saying don't get in that, and then trying to do what I can do. And so then once they go to sleep, so after they are, after I end my 9 to 5 work day, I have a brief moment where I'll start making dinner, or we gonna buy something from a restaurant. And I try to spend a little bit of time with my family. I may get on social media right there because I'm trying to run a business account on there also. Right. And then I put them to bed, and a lot of times that'll be the first part of it. So they'll go down about 7 or 8 now. And I have my 7-year-old son. He's intertwined in all of that too. Yeah. Right? But as far as balancing the real little ones, because he's a little more self-sufficient, I put them to bed, and then I'll pick up my marriage and motherhood blogger stuff, whether it's working on my planner or prepping content or whatever I need to do. And then I'm sending emails, writing a blog. I'll do that, but I try to shut it off. And this is where my screen time on the iPhone comes into play. I have it set to go off at about 11:30. Then I'm like, okay, get your butt into bed. And I go sit with my husband or just do something with my husband. We just recently tried to start finding a new show that we are looking to watch. But we'll sit in bed together and talk or watch whatever. And so I'm trying to create those boundaries so that I can feel productive in all of those areas.
Wow. That's amazing. That is amazing. I tell you, by month 5 or so, when my son was starting to become very busybody, trying to crawl out of the bassinet or flip out, whatever, I said, yeah, no, I can't do it. I can't do it. My daughter was easy. So that whole area, I swaddle her up. She got a little play mat. You could do almost anything. You could cook, laundry, all that stuff, vacuum. It wouldn't bother her. Him, he sees you come in the room. What? What? Pick me up now, right? So I definitely commend you, especially with the girls, on doing that. And another thing you mentioned that I've talked to several moms and even people who aren't moms. They go through this phase, especially around what's the religious where people do the fasting for like 40 days and all of that stuff, right?
I was about to say Lent. You talking about Lent?
Lent. Thank you. So when people start doing Lent, a lot of people say, I'm off social media, right? Fine. But this app, and then, they get back on for the rest of the year. Sometimes I never understand it. Whatever. That's a whole other topic. But I never realized that the iPhone, you can limit certain apps to be more productive. And that's really talking about being a COO in not only your business to make sure you're staying focused, but also just in your personal life to be like, okay, it's time to stop certain apps at a certain time so that you can refocus and shift it. And that could really, because I know people who literally go through once a year and delete their social media off of their phone. They can only get to it on a desktop or a laptop. And I'm like, here we go again. We're going to all right, you didn't see my message because you deleted it again. But this would be a better, efficient way to me of really trying to make that shift of social media, of turning the apps off at certain times. So that's brilliant. I'm definitely about to start looking into that. And hopefully I can convince this person stop deleting the apps and just
right. And it even works for like your work day. Like if you want to just shut it off between, like, let's say you have a project you're working on 2 hours, I need to not get those distractions, cut it on. You can adjust it. You can even set it where it only does that on certain days at certain times and everything. So it's but I think they put that on the iPhone maybe like 2 years ago, maybe.
Oh wow. It changed my perspective there, especially with Clubhouse dinging all the time. Come into a room. Like, leave me alone. I need to work. So why is it important for busy mommypreneurs like yourself to take time for date night with your significant other? And what's some ways that mommypreneurs can make time for date nights?
So first and foremost, I want everyone to understand, based on research that's out there, based on what I've learned and my own personal opinion, date night is not just date night. It is literally you connecting and building a friendship and a connection with your spouse if you want to have longevity in your marriage. You don't want to be the roommate. You don't want to be just somebody who's co-parenting with your husband, your spouse, your partner. You want to actually have a connection with who you are married to, who you were excited to be married to, right? Before them kids, before all that. And so if we are talking about our marriages being the foundation of our families, we have to look at date night as part of the lifeline of keeping that foundation together. That's quality time that is so important for you all to be able to pour back into your marriage, to get to know each other as you continue to grow and evolve, because we are not the same people that we were when we married. 9 times out of 10, you are not. Whatever the changes may be, your mom now, maybe you got a new job, whatever the thing may be, you're an entrepreneur, whatever it is, you're not the same person. And so how do you guys stay connected through the different seasons? When people say that they grew apart, it just happened. That was a slow trickle over time of not prioritizing your marriage, of not making sure that you are pouring into your love bank, your love tank, and not just withdrawing, leaving basically your marriage on about to bankrupt your marriage, because all you're doing is taking from it, and you're not pouring back in, making deposits back into it. And so date night is not just, oh, we going to the movies and, I got to do, whatever, or how we even looked at it as boyfriend, girlfriend. Oh, I'm going on a date. No, date night is the opportunity for you to build and solidify that connection with your spouse. What you guys do, totally up to you. And so some ways that I say as a mommypreneur that you make that happen is you get creative. Number one, right now we're in a pandemic, and I know a lot of people don't even feel safe to go out. So you look for things that you can do at home. There's a company called Datebox. They send date boxes to your house. I have a freebie with 15 date ideas. Do a wine tasting at home. Earlier in the quarantine, me and my husband, I converted instead of having a formal living room, I call that our lounge. And so we've got chairs set up around a table, the little bar area, and I found a strobe light on Amazon. And so that's the little lounge spot.
I love it.
Have fun in there. And I mean, there's so many ideas out there to be creative with date night, and just don't make it complicated. Focus on, how do I spend quality time with my spouse? Whatever it is that you guys like, do. And then if you are okay with going out, and let's say you don't have an evening sitter. I know that some people don't have a sitter. You can get creative. Like if your child is in childcare, do a day date. Take a half day off work. Take a couple hours after work and actually go and do something with your spouse. Go to Top Golf. Go to just have lunch. Go walk on a trail somewhere. Or I was going to say Beltline. That's here in Atlanta. You know how they have the I think everybody,
the bike trails.
Yeah, the bike trails with all now. Go to me. My husband did that one afternoon because we had our sitter with us. I mean, you can get creative and do find another couple who you feel comfortable with, and you guys shift. It's okay. This is our date night. This is your date night. We got the kids and you got our kids, and it just for a couple hours. But again, people do not just grow apart one day. You don't spend 20 years in a marriage and then be like, oh, I don't even know you, just by happenstance. That was slow trickles over time of putting your marriage to the back burner of everything else, when in reality, your marriage needs to be your top priority, because when that's in order, everything else flows. Everything else flows. God said that goes first. And everything flow. The love for your children, your business, you guys will work together and trying to figure out how to make everything work when that is in order up here.
Yeah, that is so important. And I'm definitely guilty, or I guess we are definitely guilty of that. We have date night on the calendar. This is before Jameson. Actually, I think that's how Jameson came about. When we went out pre-COVID. And so it just kind of, I think COVID really messed it up too. I was my first trimester. I was feeling awful. I think I might have had a couple of client events that fell on it. I try, like I said, because I live by my calendar. So I leave it on the calendar. And I try not to book a client event on that. If something was to come up, I would consult with him to say, listen, this client wants to do an event on this day. Can we move our date night to another weekend or another night or whatnot? Mm-hmm. So that definitely, I've respected that. But in COVID, we have just been like, oh, it's date night. We both get the alerts like, oh, it's date night. Oh, at least we're in the basement watching something, but we're not making it special.
Mm-hmm.
So I love the ideas you gave of, turning a space into a lounge. And we did do a wine and cheese pairing one evening. And it was so much fun. People may think like, what, you're doing a wine tasting virtual? Y'all are cheesy. Y'all, these things are fun.
Fun.
It is so much fun. Like, we were cracking up. And I think it's because we were looking at other couples and like, look at them. You know, like, oh, he looks a little tipsy over there. What's going on? So I think we just made it like our own fun. And so I can easily see how some of your tips that you have on your website that you guys can go and download that can definitely help spark some new interests and new ideas. And we're starting to get to spring. So we're starting to warm up a little bit that you're able to do things out. And, my husband and I love to do picnics. So that's definitely something we're going to try to do when the springtime comes.
Yes.
Absolutely. So as moms and as wives, we tend to be on the go mode. And I'm so guilty of this, of go mode 24/7 a day. But often which leads into a burnout and irritability. What are some tips to prevent the burnout?
So my number one tip that I share with all my wives and mamas is you need to schedule your self-care in advance. Do not think that, the right time's going to come or whenever this happens, after this happened. No. Literally put it on, like you just said, you have your date nights on your calendar. Put your self-care time on the calendar. That way you are training. So the way that I was able to happen for me, because let me just be clear, I used to have it, but I didn't have it as structured. I would do Sunday afternoons. This is pre-COVID. My girls were nursing, and I knew when they went down for a nap, I would go out and maybe go get my nails done or run to the store. But it was real quick because, they're nursing and I got to get back home. And I didn't want to pump. Pumping is, I hate pumping. Long week pumping. But when COVID hit and everything like shut down and everything was just, we were doing virtual school all of a sudden out of nowhere. And I had a meltdown and I was like, that's it. I'm out. And I left the house and I went and sat at a lake for I sat at the lake for maybe 3 hours. And yes, because I was just like, oh my God, this is too much. And then I was like, you know what, I had talked to my therapist also, and she was like, you need to just make sure you have it written in your schedule, not just in your head, but in your schedule. Everybody in the house is planned. So I sat with my husband and I said, when are we both free? Friday evenings is for us. So after 5 on Fridays, he's home from work. The kids, we don't have anything planned. And so I said, I need a few hours for myself on Fridays. So from that point forward, every Friday, my husband knows not to schedule nothing. He honors that by, having a conversation and telling him how important this is for me, how I need it. My son, he understands. He says, Mama, you going to go get your peace? I said, I'm going to go get my peace. I need a refresher. And I've done different things. It's not just going to get a manicure and pedicure. I do that. I might get a massage. Like I said, I might go sit at a lake. I've gone and write at Panera before, different things. This Friday, I'm going to go walk when it's warming back up. So I'm going down to a trail to go walk with a friend. And so whatever you need. So each week I ask myself, what will fill my cup up this week? What will bring me joy? What do I need to get done? And that can be, again, many different things for you as a woman, as a wife. You define what your self-care is, but do not wait for this magical time that's going to happen, because nobody is more responsible for your self-care than you. You can't expect your family to prioritize something that you even prioritize.
Yeah, that's amazing. And that's so important. And it's so needed. It is just so needed to make sure that we schedule it in, put it on the calendar. So that's my task for the next week, to put on the calendar, and find something for yourself that everyone knows, Mommy, it's time to go get your peace.
Yes. And you, the way that helps with not feeling burnt out is when I'm having a rough week, or, we're dealing with a lot, that, busy week, I know on Friday I'm gonna get my time. I'm not saying don't nobody care about me around here. I'm so sick of y'all. I do everything. No. I already know. I'm gonna go get refreshed on Friday, so I can make it through these days. My time is gonna come on Friday, and you can do that more frequently if you want to. That's how I do it, but I think at minimum it needs to be at least every week.
Yeah, because then you're trying to cram a whole bunch of hours into small hours. It's not going to work. So I definitely agree on that. Definitely do. So how does journaling make a difference for mommypreneurs and in their marriage?
So I say that journaling is kind of your DIY therapy. It is an opportunity. I actually just did a reel. I was just saying some of the 6 different ways that journaling is beneficial for your marriage. Number 1, it offers you the opportunity to kind of release angry feelings or frustrations in your planner. In your journal without lashing out at your spouse. So you fired up. You like take it to your planner first. Now get your mind right. Now you can go talk about it objectively.
Yeah.
I think journaling, I love to use my journal as like I'm writing to God. So it's like I'm writing my prayers out. You have an opportunity to build your self-awareness. You can kind of identify and look at some patterns that you may be experiencing or things that may be triggering you. So building your own self-awareness. I also think, what else did I say on my reel? Journal is just very therapeutic. And I try to do that during my self-care time, just to kind of just walk out. I always start with kind of like, what am I grateful for? Because I believe that having a grateful perception about your life and about your circumstances helps you to be able to manage everything. You don't feel like a victim of your circumstances. You want to focus on what is good and not what you feel like, is going wrong or you're frustrated with. And obviously you can write that out too, but I always like to start off with a grateful heart and then kind of go from there and just kind of walking out my feelings and whatever's going on for that week.
Yeah, that's, you guys, journaling, think about back in high school. Or even elementary, used to journal, put hearts on. I like so and so, right? And so I ran into a couple of those journals I used to do in high school, and just one the innocent mind that you have as a child. Wow, but to just reflect, like, wow, and putting certain goals. And so, if you kind of journal each day or once a week or a couple of times a week, by the time you roll around next year, you can see the goals that you put down, what you talked about, the feelings you were going through, and you run into another situation. You can say, wait a minute, go to chapter so-and-so, and I can see that I went through this, and this is how we handled it.
Yep.
Sometimes you have to remember, we forget.
It's
receipt. Yeah, you forget, like, oh yeah, I did do that, or just accolades that did happen. Like you said, grateful. Every time I'm with my business coach, she tells me, what are 3 grateful things you're grateful for today? We write it down. And then we come each year and we do our kind of VIP day to go through the business structure and personal. We see, like, remember, you've manifested this, you talked about this, or we even had just an idea of this. And now look, a whole year later, how close we're to it, or it got accomplished. Look, you did meet your goals. And sometimes we're so on the go, we forget that if you write things down and really process it, that you can really that later. It may seem like, yeah, okay, I got it, and you move on. But when you really do put it down and reflect on it and then come back to it, it's definitely empowering, and that fire behind you again.
Yeah, I just came across a journal that I wrote at least 4 or 5 years ago, and I was frustrated in my marriage, and I said, God, I'm frustrated. I literally was like, God, I'm frustrated right now, but I know that my circumstances are going to bless some other women one day, so I'm going to push through this. And it's like, look at God, y'all.
Yeah. Exactly. Yes. The ones I ran into in high school was my husband and I dated in high school. And either we were going through some issues or whatever drama we go through in high school. Right. And I think I said in there, like, God, I wish you would just tell me if he's supposed to be my husband. Like, I'm tired of looking. Like, who am I in high school talking about I'm tired of looking? And I just laughed like, oh my gosh, he is. He was a hustler. And for the whole time, he said, lady, I put him in front of you.
I love it.
That was just too funny to like look back and see.
Yes.
That again, the journaling, it brings it back, it brings you back to focus of how, like, yes, God brought me through, or look what we've accomplished in the year or two.
Yeah.
That's definitely important. Well, this has been, no, go ahead.
I've even wrote out an overcomer list. I wrote out the things that I've overcome. And that was like me, and I said, these are the things me and God have overcome together. And that one was good. I just said, that was like, oh, God, you good.
I love that. I really love that one.
Thank you.
That's a new list I'm going to start. Okay. Yes, because you can really see the growth in you. That's powerful. Absolutely. But this has been totally amazing. Thank you so much for coming on with me tonight. And I know the people are definitely there taking notes. I see you guys in the comments. I see that. Yes.
I'm glad I can't see it because I'm like, oh gosh.
Yeah. And so, but definitely tell people how they can connect with you.
Yeah, so I am Mrs. Mommy Esquire on Instagram. That is my website. Mrs. as you see below, Mommy Mommymy Esquire. Esquire is because I'm an attorney, and it was honestly just an Instagram name a few years ago. And my friend was like, "That's your business name." I said, "It sure is." But I am right now. I just launched a planner called A Well-Planned Wife.
Look how pretty that is.
And I actually just got my email. So we've been in pre-launch status until today because I just got the email from the company saying that the inventory is ready. And I haven't even let all of my pre-orders know. We can ship them out now, y'all. But anyway, the planner was designed to help you as a mother, as a wife, balance marriage, motherhood, and self-care. Some of the tools in it, let me look it up real quick because I always get all over the place when I'm talking about it. There's a prayer request log. Each week has a plan for you to actually put it in your schedule. And at the beginning of the planner, there's actually 35 self-care ideas that you can use if you don't know what's something that you want to do. There's a weekly marriage goal. So there's a marriage plan each week, and it is focused on making sure that you're constantly making consistent deposits into your marriage. As I said earlier, it is important for us to always be pouring into the bank and not our love bank and not just withdrawing. Right. So, and then there's also 52 marriage goals at the beginning of the planner to give you some ideas. So there's things like putting a thank you note in your spouse's in their car or in their pocket on their mirror, something like that. Just little small deposits that strengthen your marriage on a day-to-day basis. There's a monthly date night section where you can walk out at your date night checklist, what you need, what you're wearing, where you're going, do you need a sitter info? And then there's 25 date night ideas at the beginning of the planner. I have conversations, I think there's 25 conversation starters, 20 family activities that you can also use as date nights also if you want to, journal prompts after each week and at the end of each month. So at the end of each week, there is a journal and every month, a monthly prayer focus. So for instance, 1 month is praying for a fulfilling sex life. So that week's journal prompts are going to be about your sex life and just walking that out and diving deeper into the different areas. I call them my marriage enrichment journal prompts. So it's a various topics in terms of you as a wife, as far as your husband, your marriage, what are your goals for your marriage, all of that. It's all tied in one. And I created this with the goal that instead of having to go to multiple products to journal or to, gather your self-care or to do something for your marriage or to do something for your business. I'm sorry, I didn't actually clarify. It is actual planner pages in there also. So use it as a day planner too. And so it's a journal and a planner all in one to help you as to help you balance marriage, motherhood, and self-care. And you can check it out mrsmommyesquire.com, and there's also a link in my bio. I have a full-on walkthrough of the planner on a video on the website. So there's a link for a well-planned wife planner on Mrs. Mommy Esquire.
Wow, amazing! And what is that little thing poking out?
Oh, this is a secret because it was a little the little add-on for those once they get their shipment, but it's just a little paper clip that's
oh, that's so really
Thank you.
So you know where you left off. Yes,
exactly, because
I will be using a paper clip. That's what I do in my current journal.
Yeah, so it is a diamond paper clip. That's
that is cute.
Thank you.
I love it.
And there's 3 covers. I'm sorry, I should have said, but if you go to Mrs. Mommy Esquire, click on a Well Planned Wife Planner, you can see all the details in full because there's more in it.
You guys definitely make sure you check it out. Head to the website now. Be a part of the pre-order list. You heard shipment is in, so you'll be getting it soon. You don't have to wait too long for it. So definitely
One more thing. I'm sorry. It is undated. I needed to clarify that. This was not something that started in January and now it's March. Undated. You can start it at any time.
Good. Because that's a lot of excuse. Oh, it's already halfway through. Yeah. Why am I going to pay the money? It's always an excuse, right?
Yeah.
Or just start.
Yeah. Wherever you at, girl.
Exactly. Amazing. Thank you again so much. I am going to head over and get my planner soon. I get on my shipment. But this has definitely been great. I know people in the comments saying this was good. This is great. Thank you guys so much for watching. Definitely make sure you check her out. Go support her. Get the journal. If you know someone who's recently married, I know a lot of people got engaged during the quarantine. It's a great gift for them to prepare for marriage because it is not, the wedding day is nice and cute. And I tell my clients that when we start planning, but it's about sustainability and surviving. And living and loving the marriage. So you can be 30, 50 years in.
Yes, exactly. Love it. Yes.
Awesome. So I'll see you soon.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. You guys, it's been amazing Wednesday. Thank you guys for joining. Be back next week. We have another special guest. And if you're like, Melissa, I have a business and I'm a mom. I'm a mommypreneur. I want to be on your show. Then you just need to send us an email, okay? So you need to go to melissajakes.com and you can select the contact form and connect with us, okay? So make sure you go ahead and do that. If you know someone who's a mom and who's a business owner and they're out there killing it, definitely send them over our way. We want to feature them and highlight them because we're in the business of sharing a platform with everyone so that we can definitely make sure mommies are sticking together. Okay. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for joining and I will see you next week. Bye.